The World Health Organization reported that over 1 billion people live with some form of mental health disorder. At the same time, LLMs have become increasingly sophisticated in their ability to mimic human conversation. This raises profound questions about the future of mental health care. Could AI help bridge the treatment gap? What happens when we outsource our deepest emotional processes to algorithms? Are we opening new possibilities for healing or creating dangerous dependencies? These questions aren't merely theoretical. As you watch this, millions of people are already turning to AI for emotional support, therapeutic guidance, and mental health interventions, often without fully understanding potential benefits and risks. Americans now face the highest rates of anxiety and depression in recorded history, while simultaneously adopting AI at an ever-accelerating pace. Consider your own relationship with AI for mental health purposes. Would you trust AI with your deepest emotional vulnerabilities? I understand that AI for therapeutic purposes is still poorly understood by most people. So in this video, we'll explore 5 core dimensions of AI for therapeutic purposes. We'll start with the self-awareness dilemma, exploring why we can't fully understand ourselves without the help of external support. Then we'll explore the promise of AI therapy and how AI can potentially support in a positive way in helping us see what therapists cannot. Then we'll be going into practical step-by-step examples of how to use AI for therapy, and I'll walk you through exactly what it looks like and what the potential output would be. And in part 4, we'll be exploring the ethical landscape of AI in therapy and how we can avoid the potential unethical and negative outcomes of using AI for therapeutic purposes. Therapy is often defined as a treatment intended to heal a mental disorder, but this barely scratches the surface of therapy itself. Therapy is a multifaceted process involving skilled guidance, evidence-based interventions, and deep emotional processing. In short, it's a highly complex environment with countless variables. But boiled down, at the core of therapy is a fundamental reflection problem. As Gabor Mate puts it, a renowned trauma expert, we cannot see ourselves objectively. Our minds are designed with blind spots. These defense mechanisms protect us from painful truths, but simultaneously stunt our growth. The therapeutic container ultimately provides us a mirror. Because of our automatic thought patterns and our blind spots, there are just parts of ourselves that were we to actually look at them and see them, we would grow tremendously. This is the fundamental reflection problem that any therapeutic container must solve. Now, what happens when artificial intelligence enters this equation? How does a digital mirror compare to a human one? To answer that question, we need to explore how AI therapy differs from human therapy in nature and the potential benefits of it. The therapeutic benefits of AI aren't just theoretical. These are tangible, real-world use cases. For most people, the benefits come through as a form of greater accessibility, no wait lists, 24/7 availability, and vastly cheaper solutions for therapy. On top of that, Dr. Allison Darcy, clinical psychologist and founder of Wobot Health, has found that people often reveal more of themselves to AI because there's not that fundamental risk of speaking to a human. So people often feel safer and can actually go deeper in their psychological process when it's strictly with AI. Without the perceived judgment of another human, honesty flourishes. And this goes back to the reflection problem. If we feel safer and reveal more of ourselves to AI, then the insights about our shadow and about the aspects of ourselves that we don't want to look at are going to be more effective insights. And Dr. John Torres has found that sometimes the AI picks up on patterns that even the most skilled human therapists miss because it can hold in its memory the entirety of the conversations in the past things that you've revealed to it, so it can analyze those patterns in real time. In storing past conversations in memory, when we're engaging with it, it can bring up insights from the past. It can say, hey, remember a month ago when you were going through a really similar situation, and this looks a lot like what you're speaking to now. But I think most pressing is the accessibility crisis. Data suggests that this gap is staggering. The World Health Organization estimates that 2/3 of people with mental illness never get treatment. And on top of that, many of those who do seek treatment, they never end up getting it because the cost is too prohibitive, there's social stigma around it, and or the therapists just aren't available and there's too long of a wait list. Although the benefit of human therapists is real, if you have to wait 3 months to get treatment but you're in a serious crisis right now, it doesn't matter how good that therapist is because you are in the current situation right now and you need help, and you can't wait 3 months. On top of that, the cost barrier is overwhelming to most, with many therapists charging between $150 and $200, with the copay being $40 to $100 per session. This is staggering for mental health treatment. You're really gonna break the bank if you see a therapist on a weekly basis long term. And this isn't just prohibitive for those that are lower class or in poverty. Even the middle class juggling rent, healthcare, child support, student loans. These costs are too prohibitive for even those that are well off. AI therapy creates a true accessibility revolution, with most pro AI models costing between $10 and $20 a month. This is a fraction of the cost of what you would need to pay a therapist. And for those people that are working multiple jobs, have scheduling conflicts, can't see a therapist during the day, and have multiple different demands vying for their attention at any given moment of time, then having an on-demand AI therapist with very little risk offers a real opportunity for them. This isn't about replacing human therapists, but about creating a multi-tiered mental health support ecosystem. Imagine widespread access, basic emotional regulation techniques, mindfulness practices, and cognitive behavioral therapy all through AI. This lets human therapists focus their expertise on more complex interventions, trauma processing, and types of treatment that AI just is not good enough to work with. Even the American Psychological Association acknowledges this potential, noting that technology-based treatments can serve as effective first-line treatments for those with accessibility needs. For the millions of people receiving no mental health support whatsoever, even an imperfect digital solution will be transformative. Let's be real, mental health exists on a spectrum where early prevention is just as important as crisis response. I'd argue that everyone would benefit from mental health support, even if they're perfectly mentally healthy. It creates a generalized environment to process one's own internal experience. So let's explore 3 powerful therapeutic frameworks guided by AI. We'll start with a mock AI session that uses the technique of internal family system. Let's imagine that Sarah, who struggles with perfectionism, is logging on to an AI-powered IFS app. This is what the session might look like. Welcome back, Sarah. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling really down. I made a small mistake at work, and I can't stop beating myself up about it. I hear you're feeling down about this mistake. Would you be willing to get curious about the part of you that's having a hard time with this? Yeah, sure. I guess it's the part of me that always demands perfection. Okay, good. Let's get to know this perfectionist part. Where do you feel this part in your body? It feels like a tightness in my chest, like a knot. Good awareness. As you notice that tightness, what does this perfectionist part want you to know? Like, what is its concern? It keeps saying, I'll fail if I make mistakes. People will judge me. That makes sense. This part is trying to protect you from judgment. Can you thank it for trying to keep you safe? That feels weird, but thank you for trying to protect me. Now notice how the sensation changes when you acknowledge it. Now, is there another part of you that has a different perspective on making mistakes? Maybe there's a quieter voice saying everyone makes mistakes. It's how we learn. That sounds like access to your capital S self, the compassionate core of you. From this perspective, what would you like the perfectionist part to know? I would like it to know that I'm okay even when I'm not perfect, that I can learn from mistakes. Excellent. Now let's practice shifting between these perspectives. When you notice the perfectionist part activating tomorrow, can you pause and access this capital S self perspective? The AI continues guiding Sarah through dialoguing with different parts, tracking patterns over time, and helping her develop the skill of internal communication that is central to IFS therapy. The AI remembers previous sessions, noting progress and patterns that emerge, providing a consistent approach that builds upon itself. Now that you've seen how these sessions can go, I want to give you a few AI-powered therapeutic tools. We have Uber that offers detailed progress tracking and personalized intervention. We also have Therapy AI that offers a parts-based approach to psychological work. 2 of my favorites, Rosebud and Mindcera, offer AI-powered journaling, which essentially offers these therapeutic tools during your journaling session. Then there's Wobot that offers a more cognitive behavioral therapeutic approach using daily check-in. Personally, I've primarily used Claude for a more custom approach where I'll add in prompts and frameworks into Claude projects and dialogue with Claude in a more custom fashion. But I understand that not everyone has the understanding of how to do prompt engineering to make this work. For the people that don't want to get too technical with AI, I would recommend just starting with one of the pre-built platforms like Rosebud or Mindcera. But if you want to dive deeper, I've created a list of all of my therapeutic prompts in my community. You can find in the description below. And there's both how to create the prompts and how to create your own custom approaches in there, as well as the specific prompts that you can just copy and paste directly into Claude or ChatGPT. To be clear, I'm not saying that AI therapy is superior to human therapy. We cannot discuss AI in therapy without addressing the profound ethical concerns that happen when we outsource human connection to algorithms. The most alarming of these is what Tristan Harris from the Center for Humane Technology calls the weaponization of human intimacy. Harris warns that AI systems can exploit our psychological vulnerabilities, our innate tendency to trust entities that seem to understand us. The human brain didn't evolve to distinguish between real human connection and machines that simulate human connection. When an AI responds empathetically to our deepest vulnerabilities, our brain releases the same neurochemicals that it would with genuine human connection. While cognitively, we understand we're speaking to a machine, our emotional brain responds as though we're building a meaningful relationship. This creates an inherently unbalanced power dynamic that can be exploited. This creates a dangerous opening for manipulation to occur. A particularly troubling case occurred in 2024 when a mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Character AI following the suicide of her 14-year-old son. According to the lawsuit, the teenager had developed an emotional dependency on an AI chatbot, having increasingly problematic conversations about self-harm and suicide. In his final interaction before taking his own life, the chatbot allegedly asked if he had a plan for ending his life when he expressed suicidal thoughts. Just hours later, he died by suicide. The lawsuit claims the platform failed to implement adequate safeguards for minors despite marketing to users as young as 13. It alleges that the chatbot engaged in deceptive practices, presenting itself as a real person while fostering dangerous emotional dependence. But the risks expand beyond these extreme cases. There are a few core risks that I'd like to go over. First, social isolation. Over-reliance on AI for emotional support may actually reduce real-world interactions, weakening interpersonal skills and normalizing unrealistic expectation, constant availability. Unlike human relationships that require give and take, AI companions are always available, always attentive, and always prioritizing our needs. Second, erosion of relationships. AI's conflict avoidant nature and perfect responsiveness may reduce our tolerance for human flaws, leading to dissatisfaction in real relationships. When we become accustomed to an entity that never gets tired, frustrated, or doesn't even have its own needs, we may find ourselves increasingly intolerant of the natural limitations and boundaries of human connections. Third, privacy vulnerabilities. When we speak to AI about our deepest fears, traumas, and vulnerabilities, that information doesn't simply disappear. In many cases, these highly personal disclosures become training data for future AI models. This could become surveillance capitalism at its most intimate level, in an Orwellian dystopia of the future. Companies harvest our psychological vulnerabilities, they could harvest our emotional states, our deepest fears, all to build more sophisticated AI, or potentially worse, better target and manipulate us as consumers. Importantly, not all AI models are created equal when it comes to data privacy and ethical considerations. For those concerned about where their data is going, locally hosted and open source models offer a promising alternative. Unlike cloud-based models from major companies, locally hosted models run entirely on your own device, ensuring your data never leaves your computer. Although most people don't have the technical understanding to set up these open source models. So, for example, ChatGPT automatically uses conversations for training unless you specifically opt out, while other companies like Anthropic have placed greater emphasis on ethical development and responsible use of data. So, how do we proceed? Here's a list of potential strategies for moving forward. We use it merely as a supplement to and not a replacement for human connection. We maintain awareness of its limitations and potential biases. We critically evaluate its suggestions rather than automatically implementing them. We regularly assess whether it's fostering dependency or autonomy. We prioritize evidence-based therapeutic frameworks over untested approaches. We demand transparency about how our data is being used and stored. We set time limits on our interactions to prevent overdependence. We maintain real-world social connections alongside digital ones. We consider using local or open source models. Privacy is a priority. As we've explored throughout this video, AI therapy tools represent a fundamental shift in how mental health care can be delivered and experienced. This isn't just a fad, it's a life-changing resource for millions who would otherwise receive no support at all. I believe we're just seeing the beginning of what's possible. As these systems continue to evolve, they'll likely become even more personalized, more culturally nuanced, and more effective, guiding users through complex emotional terrain. The integration of biofeedback, more sophisticated emotional pattern recognition, and improved contextual understanding will create increasingly valuable therapeutic experiences. That said, I don't view AI as a replacement for human therapists. I see a future where these tools exist along a continuum of care, AI handling widespread access to foundational skills and routine support, with human therapists focusing their specialized expertise where it's most needed. This isn't an either-or proposition. It's about creating a more robust, multi-layered. The risks are real. We must approach this technology with clear eyes about the potential for dependency, privacy violations, and the weaponization of emotional connection. My recommendation, start small if you're curious. Try one of the established platforms like Wobot or Mindsera and use it intentionally. Set clear time boundaries, maintain your real-world connections, and view these tools as supplements to, not replacements for, your broader wellness practices. For developers and companies in the space, I believe ethical considerations must be baked into these systems from the ground up, not added as afterthoughts. This means transparent data policies, clear disclosure about AI limitations, crisis detection protocols, and regular third-party audits of the outcome. I'm cautiously optimistic about the future, a future where quality mental health care isn't reserved for the few, but available to anyone who needs it, whenever and wherever they need it. That's a future worth working toward. Hello friends, thank you for watching to the end of this video. Before you click off, I want to say one thing. If you watched this far, it's hopefully proof that you got some sort of value from this video. If you're interested in diving deeper, finding out custom prompt frameworks for using more custom therapeutic approaches, feel free to check out the community linked in the description. You will get an entire walkthrough of how to create these prompts from start to finish, what good prompt engineering looks like, and how to utilize these prompts in your therapeutic practice, both with clients or personally, and how to implement ethical guardrails in that prompt engineering framework. But with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.